there are few people who have been really embodying what Stoic philosophy is. Stoic philosophy is just a way of life and how to live a self-disciplined life with virtues and a strong mindset of growth. That's what Stoic philosophy is. I believe you unknowingly are a Stoic. I would like to throw out to you 7 to 8 different phrases of the Stoic philosophy, which is well known in Stoic philosophy. And I would like to know what are your thoughts on that. And at the end of the show, you would be a Stoic as well, sir.
I'm sure this will be fun. This will be a learning to me.
Amor Fati. Memento Mori. Obstacle is the way. Seeking discomfort. Premeditatio Malorum. All the virtues such as courage, wisdom, integrity are also key in every decision making that you do. So how does that correspond to your life?
So getting blown off under a mine or a IED, it was bleeding. I could not walk. I was falling after every step because it was like a small kid starting to walk for the first time in his life or her life. I am going to die. Now that one sentence started changing my perception.
It's known as Ataraxia, which also translates to what you already said, peace of mind.
More you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. Male, female, gender, able, disabled, specially able, does not matter. One fear gives birth to 100 fears. My limb came out in the waters. I did not realize, and I did not even know that my prosthetic leg was buoyant. I did not know for 22 years. When challenges comes to me, I get charged up. That now let me see how this will not happen. Being resilient is my lifestyle.
Like I said, sir, I would at the end of a conversation prove to you that you are a natural Stoic. Today I have the privilege of introducing you to a remarkable individual, Colonel DD Goel, a decorated army veteran who has lived his life with resilience and purpose. Interestingly, he wasn't aware that he was embodying a profound philosophy all along. Through our conversation today, I introduced him to a concept of Stoicism, only to discover that Colonel Goel had been living its principles without even knowing about it. In this episode, we will dive into timeless Stoic ideas that Colonel Goel exemplifies, like Amor Fati, the love of fate, where he embraces life's ups and downs. Memento Mori, an acceptance of mortality that he finds empowering, and the obstacle is the way, a principle he lives by as he transforms challenges into source of strength. We'll also explore some of the incredible moments from his life, including the life-changing experience of losing his leg and yet continuing to pursue world records in adventure sports. We'll see how his resilience combines with Stoic principles has crafted a life full of strength, peace, and gratitude. Whether you're familiar with Stoicism or new to it, this conversation is about discovering strength in adversities, accepting life as it is, and becoming resilient in the face of whatever comes your way. So let's dive in and uncover what it means to be a natural Stoic. Without further ado, let's get started. Before we dive into today's conversation, I just wanted to take a quick moment. We looked at our analytics and noticed that 93% of you who watch our videos regularly aren't subscribed yet. If you're enjoying our content and want us to keep going with more insightful conversation, we'd really appreciate if you could take just a second to subscribe. It might seem like a small action, but it goes a long way in helping us grow and bringing even more amazing content your way. Thanks for your support. It means the world to us. Now let's get back to the video. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiva.
So do you have any idea what our conversation is going to be today?
Totally clueless since we happen to meet here at your place and I'm just sitting in front of the camera. I'm not aware.
That's how I like it, sir. The very candid conversation. But before you came into the setup, the office, I thought, what can we speak about today? And there is something that I'm really passionate about. Recently, I've been reading a lot about the Stoic philosophy.
Can you explain what it is?
Of course, sir, I would. So Stoic philosophy is just a philosophy of life, which was started in the Greek era of Athens by this philosopher and has been followed in a lot of different philosophies, such as Roman as well. And Greek primarily. But there are a few people who have been really embodying what Stoic philosophy is. Stoic philosophy is just a way of life and how to live a self-disciplined life with virtues and a strong mindset of growth. That's what Stoic philosophy is. I believe that you unknowingly are a Stoic.
That's why I bring this conversation to you, sir. I would like to throw out to you 7 to 8 different phrases
Okay.
of the Stoic philosophy, which is well known in the Stoic philosophy. And I would like to know what are your thoughts on that. And at the end of the show, you would be a Stoic as well, sir.
I'm sure this will be fun. This will be a learning to me. And I'll go with some takeaways from here.
So I'll just tell you a little more about the Stoic philosophy, sir. The founder of the Stoic philosophy was this man called Zeno. He was a philosopher. And we're talking about 300 BCE.
Oh,
So 300 years before Christ, he had coined Stoicism. And Stoic doesn't mean that you're a successful man or you lead a very positive life, but Stoic could be anyone. Could be me, could be you, or someone in the street could be a Stoic. It's all about the mindset that the person holds. So there have been some popular Stoics. One of them that I really read and look up to is this man called Marcus Aurelius. This was a Roman emperor in about 120 AD. And even being an emperor, he used to lead a life of discomfort, lead a life of positive virtues. And he is one of the most famous Stoics for reasons because he wrote a book called The Meditations. And this book, The Meditation, was nothing but a self-reflection that he wrote on a daily to become a better man. So it wasn't a book to be published for us, but it was a book for himself. And he used to write every day about how could he improve life, what is he grateful for, what could he have done better, what was he grateful for on a particular day. So it's basically daily reflections of Marcus Aurelius, and this book is in today's time is called Meditations. There are other philosophers as well, we wouldn't name them, but primarily this was based in Greek and Roman Empire. Now, like I said, I will throw some phrases of Stoic philosophy to you, and I would like you to connect it to your life and how you are a Stoic already. The first phrase that comes in the line that I've written is Amor Fati.
what is that?
Amorfati. It's a Roman term, and it means nothing but love of fate. What that means is, how are you acceptance of what your fate gives, your life gives you? For example, whatever life gives you, you accept it in a very positive manner. That is what Amor Fati means. Yes. Please tell me, how do you, as a retired army officer and someone who has lived such a courageous life, accept all the challenges that life throws at you?
Well, I'll tell you this term, it resonates with my life. I'll tell you how. When I started my life, I have already mentioned in my previous podcast with you, where how life threw challenges on me from appearing for interviews, almost 100 plus interviews in a month and not able to clear in the corporates, and then joining the forces, then meeting with casualty. So what I learned is life will keep throwing challenges at you. Life is not bed of roses. Life will not treat you very nicely. You have to understand that life is full of surprise. Now, when things came, the only thing I could do is I could take a pause, understand what happened with me. Even when I lost my left leg, when it got blown off, I took a pause. Of course, I was yelling in pain, but as I was able to take control of the mind and the situation, I gave a pause. That now what? And then when I started saying now what, it was acceptance in my mind, and I accepted it. So when you accept things, you are able to look ahead. You are able to leave your past. That is how this term resonates. That when life, the fate as it comes, take a pause, understand it, have acceptance, and how to move on. That gives you a roadmap ahead.
So what I also understand from this term is, sir, that nothing in life is negative or positive. It is what it is, and how you come through it is,
and how you pursue it. Life comes in a neutral form. Situation comes in a neutral form. It is your way of perception. As I mentioned, for me, the moment I could see my leg blown off, my perception could have been that now I'll be leading a disabled life or differently abled person's life. But my perception was not at all that way. It might have erupted or come for a second or for a small moment. But the bigger picture was that I am not going to sit like this. So I changed my perception. I changed my fate. And there's still a lot of journey to be traversed.
What message would you want to give people in today's age and time to, accept how life throws challenges, that you don't see it as a negative, but a way to grow?
Firstly, start believing that life is not of bed of roses. Number one, life will not treat you fairly. Number two, life should have been like this or like that. Don't have unrealistic expectations. Accept the reality. Anchor your thoughts right now. Whatever has happened, anchor it first. Stabilize. Leave your past. What has happened, happened. Now, what next? Think on that. Give yourself adequate time. It can be 20 minutes. It can be one day. It can be 1 week. But don't stop.
Lovely, sir. It's really funny how you say life is unfair.
Yes.
Because only yesterday I was reading some laws of life, and the number one law of life that covered all the different laws was that life is unfair.
Yes. It is unfair, but the way you see it unfair, or you see it, so what? These challenges come to me, I'll be able to achieve it or overcome it. So it's the way you see.
Absolutely. Let's jump into the second phrase,
Yes.
which is called Memento Mori.
Oh, what is that?
Memento Mori translate loosely to remember you will die. So it's basically a way of telling yourself, you're conscious that you are a mortal self.
Yes.
Acceptance of mortality. When
Yes.
it's like something that you remind yourself on a daily that you will die one particular day, and you are closer to, every second is closer to your death.
Yes.
How does your life improve when you remind yourself that you're mortal and you don't take life for granted?
Very interesting. Now, there are two things. First is, every second as it passes, you start brooding, you start crying, you start saying that, oh, my another day is wasted, another day wasted, Or you believe that live as if today it's my last day. You will be able to live to the fullest. I'll tell you. Again, I'm coming to my example. When I became a differently able person, when I lost my leg, we are not robots that suddenly you accept. Acceptance take time. So when I was in the hospital bed looking at the ceiling, a lot of things came to my mind. One particular thing came to my mind was, this is my way of changing my perception. So one particular thing came to my mind was, this could have happened to me anytime. As such, I am going to die maybe after 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. This has happened early. Now that one sentence started changing my perception. So just matter of few decades, I changed my perception. I said, now since I am alive, instead of, totally getting blown off under a mine or a IED, so now let me make good use of it. So every day I remind myself that we are not immortals, we are mortals. I create memories. I create memories for my family, for my friends, for my kids, for my near and dear ones, everybody. So this is how I make use. And I know that every day is passing, but I don't cry for the day gone. I'm happy that I could make some use of that day. My every day is full of some or the other constructive thing. That I can tell you with conviction. Yes.
So a lot of spiritual laws also teaches you to live in the moment, live in this second, because what happens then is that you are present and you're more aware and more conscious about your everyday basis. But that also translates to the same thing what Stoicism teaches you. See every day as your last day. And when you start doing that, you will live to your maximum potential. So the next phrase is, the obstacle is the only way. Obstacle is the way. What that means is that whenever there's an obstacle, like we spoke about this before, obstacle and challenges aren't challenges, but is a way of achieving growth.
Yes.
That's what it means. Please tell me how it resonates to your life. I'm sure it does.
This is so interesting. You can see in my eyes. Challenges appeals to me. And when challenges comes to me, I get charged up. That now let me see how this will not happen. From a common man life, coming to the armed forces, donning the uniform, then meeting with casualty, getting restricted to the hospital bed for months together. And as I said, life is not bed of roses. It will keep reminding you. Mind is a blindfolded driver, and it keeps banging on negative things into your thoughts that you are now, what will you do? Your leg is gone. You're of no use. Now, when all these thoughts came, I decided that I'll be the driver of my life. So when I got my first limb, it was bleeding. I could not walk. I was falling after every step because it was like a small kid starting to walk for the first time in his life or her life. So I used to tell myself, let me see what is the limit of this leg and let me see my limit. I used to walk at 3 in the morning, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. And then I used to sleep at 6 and again get up by 8 by the time, doctors were on rounds and all. That made my walking style perfect. That's a small example. I can keep naming the challenges. In one of the incidences, I was paragliding and there was a power line in below me. And my glider, it just toppled I was on the turbulent side that we call it as lee side. And it was full of disturbances. I was about to hit that power line. And again, that challenge thing, it was easy for me to give up. That, okay, now I'm in the hands of the destiny. But I said, let me try. This is the challenge. I gave 1 correction, 2 correction, and then started, giving those corrections with both the hands. And suddenly the canopy opened. And before I could hit, I was just airborne again. So challenges actually gives me adrenaline. It gives me that I should have that sense of achievement, not to show somebody. It is for my self-satisfaction. So that is how I live. So
I would connect this to seeking discomfort. And that is something I do as well.
yes.
In terms of putting myself in situations which would put my mind into troubles and do something about it. You do some similar things as well. You put yourself into a lot of adventures. You've done paragliding, you've done skiing, you've done surfing, and you want to do skydiving with me, by the way, sir. This is on camera.
Very soon.
But how does this help you to live a life of discomfort?
Yes. See, when we say leading a life of discomfort, it does not mean that you like to pain yourself. Leading a life of discomfort helps you to take strong decisions in life. Very, very strong decisions. It keeps you strong because when you are alone, when you are taking challenges, you are in thick and thin of those moments where anything can happen to you. And then when you come out in flying colors, so that gives you that confidence. So I am actually training my mind. I am polishing my brain. So many people are connected to me, related to me, my family, friends, everybody. A lot of things I have to take decisions on a day-to-day basis. These things helps me not only to keep myself under control, but to guide people who are connected to me. And it is a must. I tell in all my motivational talks that take challenges. Take challenges means pick up some or the other sports activity, adventures, some or the other activity in every 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It will make you a strong person. Male, female, gender, able, disabled, specially able, does not matter. You take a call what activity you want to do, but do it. Let those neurons and axons and those cells flow in your mind. And then you see you are a changed man.
I would like to add to this also is the fact that we're living in a time that everyone is running towards comfort. And when you are in a comfortable situation, you forget trying to grow. You don't want to grow because you're comfortable. But when you, like you said, learning new things, new skills, you will always be bad at something new. But the more you do it, the more you're training your mind to learn and adapt quickly. And then, like you said, making the right decisions also come through it because your mind is conditioned to be in a situation which is not very comfortable for it, but still comes out emerging as victorious. And it really helps your self-esteem to get higher also, that even if you're not the best in the beginning and you're failing in the beginning, you will come out with flying colors.
Yes, failing teaches you the value of success and it makes you very strong. Very
Absolutely.
strong.
Absolutely. Let's go to the next phrase, sir.
Yes.
The next phrase is Premeditatio Malorum. Any thoughts what that may be?
I cannot guess,
No.
but
So
it sounds interesting.
So it says premeditation of evil. I'll explain you further what that is, sir. Premeditation of evil is that you are always preparing for the worst.
Yes.
Being in the army, sir, because there's so many scenarios that you have to go through. When you're planning a mission, how important is to plan for the worst?
Fear is one of the basic emotions. Fear and anger. It takes no time for this to erupt in mind. And when we are in the battle zone, when we are in the thick and thin of the operations, it is very important to grip fear. Now, in the army, the military way, either you practice every day. That is what we call more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So that you are able to face your fears. You are prepared. Now, second part, that is as far as military thing is concerned, and that is a must. You are fit, you practice, you face, you go for battle inoculation, you are prepared. Now the other fear which comes despite this, because as I said, we are not robots, even after best of the best trainings, the emotions, it comes out. My personal learning, whenever you are faced with fear, prepare your mind. And I'm telling you, mind is a blindfolded driver. You have to tell the mind. So I prepare my mind, what worst can happen? What worst can happen? You're already prepared that worst, I may end up breaking my bones, I may end up dying, I may end up whatever. So what happens is you have given the command to your brain that he's already prepared. So half of your fear, more than half, your fear goes away. I'll tell you one small example. It might be of interest to you. During the school days, we were mischievous. We broke few rules. When we broke those rules, I'm not advocating it, but everybody has gone through this. So when you break few rules, you are aware what worst can happen. You may be punished. You may be put under detention. You may be suspended for a few weeks. You are aware, but you still go and do that. So how do you do that? That means you're aware that what worst can go, and then you still go ahead with those mischiefs. But in the real life, one fear gives birth to 100 fears. It's like a vicious cycle. It's a spiral. So to cut that or to prevent that thing going worst, you have to tell yourself what worst can go, what worst can happen to me, and your fear will go. Even to facing the bullets. Yes, when I was leading my team, I was aware I could see enemy post 1, enemy post 2. I was also aware they could fire anytime. That means my mind was prepared what worst can go, what worst can happen to us. But that did not shake us up. So we were able to do our task. My men, they were able to get me out, evacuate me. And one more example I'll give you. In short, when the enemy used to fire at us, we used to get heavy artillery rounds on our bunkers, on our post. My men, they were actually gripped with fear, temporary fear. As a leader, I made it a game. When the artillery fire was shot from the other side, we were aware that it would take exactly 30 seconds to land over here, to reach here. So as to take them out and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at 27th or 28th second, we used to go inside the bunker. The round used to come and blast. And we used to rejoice and laugh and enjoy. So that fear factor, it just vanished. And today, they are wonderful soldiers, I can tell you. They're doing good in their life.
Amazing, sir. So you also tick mark the point of premeditation of evil. The next, all the virtues such as courage, wisdom, integrity are also key in every decision making that you do. Do you feel that virtue is an important part of life, and why?
Virtue is a very, very important part of your life. And as I said, integrity, courage. Since we have already covered these in the previous terms, in the army, as I said, from the battlefield, what we learn, once you go to the CV street, you carry those courage, virtues, integrity. People look up to you, whether you are at the airport, at the railway station, wherever, at the restaurant. The moment they know you are a soldier, you see their body language. The reason, because of these virtues, these convictions, what we have learned through those 20, 22 years, decades, 1 decade, 2 decade. So we are ingrained with that. That is made in our belief system in such a positive manner that it cannot be separated.
For you, if you were to narrow down 3 virtues that you already have, and you want to continue living your life with those virtues and set an example for the audience, what would be those 3 important virtues? Try not to repeat what the virtues I told you.
First virtue is never give up. Tell your mind, never give up. The mind will listen to you. Second, any unexpected thing happens in our life, remain calm for a few moments. I'll keep your mind under control. Last one is, I would say, and I repeat every day to myself is, so what? And this so what also helps me a lot. And this is also going to be the title of my next book, which is called as The Magic of So What. The moment you are pushed against the wall, when you meet with a lot of adversities in life, you say to yourself, so what? I mean, ठीक है, it has happened, it has happened. Now I have to look ahead. So these three virtues I have learned and I still do it. I'll give you one example. In short, I was kite surfing in Goa, and it was for my World Book of Records. The World Book of Record team had come. They came with the certificate. I was to perform in the waters, in the sea. And as I started, unfortunately, because of one strong wave, my limb came out in the waters. I did not realize. And I did not even know that my prosthetic leg was buoyant. I did not know for 22 years. So first thing came from my mouth was to my instructor that, Philip, I think my leg has just come out. And he was shocked. He said, now what? I said, then I saw. I said, here it is, I can see. So he swam and he got that thing for me. And he said, can you put it here in the water? I said, I'll try. I put that, but by the time I was so drained, I was going through fatigue and I was trying hard, to come on the board and push myself. And Philip, with his 3 decades of experience in kite surfing, he said, Colonel Goel, leave it here. Opportunities will come. Leave it here. I was not ready to give up. But then, as I said, mind tempts you. But then I left it. I said, so what? Let it go. Because my instructor is saying, I came out. I apologized to the team for letting them down. See, here when you're able to meet your failures eye to eye, that is the moment, I was sad, but I promised to myself and to the team that I will make sure that I do it again. So at times you have to let go. That let go, how you make it happen? By telling, so what? If it is not your day today, so what? Next day or some other day will come.
Yeah, lovely. So failures are a failure if you don't act on it. But if you learn from the failures and try to get another round to it, is when you really take the best advantage of failures as well. Lovely. So the next virtue is a very complicated one. It says, complicated but easy. It's known as Ataraxia. Ataraxia, which also translates to what you already said, peace of mind. So it says that, you need to be calm and your emotions need to have a good balance. So any decision that you make shouldn't be emotional. Any thought that you have any activity that you perform shouldn't be very in terms of coming from emotions. This is what Ataraxia means. So how does that correspond to your life?
So you might have read, never say harsh words when you are angry, or never promise when you're very happy. Because these are all form of emotions. And if you don't control emotions will control you. And as I said, mind loves to keep you in comfort zone. When we are born, we come to this world crying. Why? Because our comfort zone was gone. There was not much thinking about the food part, the sleeping part. Everything was taken care of. But when you're out, the doctor is patting you, the light is hitting your eyes. So you are in discomfort and you cry. So same thing, your brain, it loves to keep you in comfort zone. It is done via emotions. And emotions, if you pour water on this table, it will flow anywhere. But if you just draw an invisible line, it will start falling on that direction. So emotion is the same. And before taking any decisions, before taking any challenges, before handling, or I would say when we are into deep discussions or arguments, I go slow. I take a pause and then I respond. The reason is we speak 45 words per minute. The person other side, he listens or thinks 450 words per minute. So he's not listening to you, he's preparing the answer. So I have to make sure that I have to be deliberate in conveying the power of expression, what I want to say. That is how I'm able to channelize emotions. Because one more thing, emotions are powerful than relations. It does not count any relation. You may shout at your near and dear ones. So there are many things. So you need to keep it under control. You need to channelize it. You need to be very deliberate. You need to take a pause before taking any decision. And for the ability for decision making, take challenges. That is the adventures what we do. You do, I do.
So how do you calm yourself in a difficult situation? So because the in difficult situation is when your emotions show a real side of you as well, and it sometimes bring the worst of you in terms of things that you don't want to do, but emotions make you do that. How do you relax that?
So I divert my mind. It's not easy. You want to settle the score then and there only. If you feel bad, you're angry, you're annoyed, you want to convey something which is not keeping you at peace. That time I divert my mind. I go for a walk. I take a cup of coffee. I listen to music. I divert some pending work which is been there, kept there for days. I start focusing on that. Now what happens is this really happens. After some time, you are able to think rationally. So I divert my mind, and it is not easy. While driving, also, remember, this may be for the audience also. If you're arguing with your better half, your friend, while driving, you will realize your speed suddenly increases. You may end up, into some uneventualities. So, firstly, never ever argue during that moment. Secondly, remain calm. You can pause, and after maybe 14 minutes, last time I had said magical 14 minutes, same thing. So this works wonders. And my journey does not stop here because of this.
We have one last phrase, and a beautiful phrase as well, but we already spoke about it, but still I will, since I've written it here, it says control what you can and accept what you cannot. We've been speaking about this throughout, but how would you say this virtue reflects on your real life? I'll repeat it. It says control what you can and accept what you cannot.
So when life give you lemons, make lemonades. I have come out all decked up and it starts raining. And I cannot tell the rains to go away. So what do? I am carrying an umbrella. I'll just open the umbrella and I start walking. If I can't change the situation, I'll change myself in such a manner that I adapt to that situation and I'm able to do my job. I'm able to follow my passion, what I'm doing. Of course, challenges do come. Whatever adventure activities, whatever I have done in my life, it was not a smooth walk. It was not a cakewalk. Challenges were there, but I had already made up my mind that if I'm not going to stop, then why am I stopping now? Of course, I used to divert my route. I used to make a new way, follow my passion and all those things. It helped me to achieve what I had planned. That benchmark, my own decided by myself, I was able to follow that. So I'm happy. There is nothing which I can say that, oh, I was not able to achieve that. And I mean it. Yes.
Like I said, sir, I would at the end of a conversation prove to you that you are a natural Stoic.
Thank you.
And by just speaking all this again to you so that it goes deeper as well, it is a way of life. Like you said, it has been a part of your life ever since the army, since your unforeseen event that you saw. And it is just a way of life that encourages people to live a life of virtue and self-discipline. That anyway is a part of your life. And what is an important part of Stoicism is also the mental ability and how to keep it peaceful in the times of adversities and have that mental resilience of never giving up that you said. It is also helps you live a balanced life, helps you to free you any emotions which are unnecessary to have. That is anger, fear, and so on. The fears, the different emotions that you spoke about. And at the end, it focuses on personal growth. So this is what Stoicism is. And by the end of our conversation, I've proved to you that you are a natural Stoic, sir.
Thank you. It is.
What do you think about the Stoic philosophy? What did you learn from it? Or how do you feel about this conversation?
It's very deep. Yes, I had heard about this term, but I never got into this, that what is Stoicism. I was not aware, But as you kept on asking, I feel that there is more to learn, and I'm happy that I'm able to follow that path that much. But here onwards, I'll get more into it and apply it to my life. So thank you for this.
Of course, sir. Sir, I have been reading a lot about this recently, and these 7 phrases that I said is just the surface of the entire story.
Okay.
So, the number one book that I would recommend to you on Stoicism is Meditations, which I said is a self diary of Marcus Aurelius about how to improve his life. It wasn't meant to be written as a book, it was just his diary to himself. That reminds me, how important is it to reflect your day to day activities? Because that's what the most famous Stoic Marcus Aurelius used to do. He used to write all his learnings and drawbacks of the day. So how important is it for you? Do you write your daily objectives or your daily reflections in a diary?
I write, and I write it in such a manner. I write it in my own style so that I remember this. I don't copy as it is. I change it in my own style, and once or twice in a week, I follow. I see that, and I try to connect that. Have I followed this? And then it automatically sets into my mind, and it becomes my way of life. Like I'll tell you, being resilient is my lifestyle. What makes you resilient? All these points you made me realize. We come across many things in our life every day. We will have 90% of negative things in a day in 24 hours. I would recommend is every day, at least write 3 things. 3 good things happen to you that day. Be it very small thing, but 3 good things for 6 months. That'll make you strong enough. It'll change your perception from seeing half empty glass to the to half filled glass. So try this and see the changes after 6 months. Let me know.
Writing also helps you achieve your objectives and
Yes.
goals quicker, because then in your subconscious mind really believes that this is what I had written with so much of self-belief, and the subconscious helps you achieve that.
Yes.
Since we're talking about writing, let me tell you, one of the most famous person in today's time, the modern Stoic, is the man called Ryan Holiday, and he has written about 20 books on Stoicism, and I would suggest you to check him out and maybe read his book as well.
Oh, I will surely.
Since you're into books and we're talking about books, sir, I would end our conversation on speaking about your book. When people doubted my ability to walk, I decided to fly. We spoke about this book in a previous podcast, but I would again urge you to tell the audience what this book is about and why should they read it.
This book talks about resilient behavior. This book talks about that life is not bed of roses. And when life mistreats you, that is again the perception, how you have to make it like a treat. So this book speaks all about all the challenges. It connects to every common person of this country, rather any common man. So this book speaks about that. And then how you have to trump over situations and feel happy about yourself.
So I'll take this opportunity to congratulate you
Thank you.
on bringing out a Hindi copy as well, Udan Hauslo Ki.
Yes.
And you had the opportunity to meet the President of India today and present a copy to her, sir. How does it feel to have your book in multiple languages? Not 1, not 2, but 5 different languages that your book is coming out in.
Yes. Presenting this Hindi book, Udan Hauslo Ki, the first copy to the Honorable President of India, is like a dream come true. It is every citizen's dream. I was living my dream, and this was an experience that I am meeting the President of India, presenting the first copy. And this book touches every soldier's life, every common man's life, and how to come out of difficult situations. So I was speechless. Honorable President made me feel comfortable by asking questions about the book, and she wished me luck. It was something I cannot articulate in words. Yeah.
So congratulations once again for these books, and thank you again for sparing the time in joining us for this conversation.
Thank you.
I'm sure I got a lot from this conversation,
Thank you.
and I'm sure the audience got it as well.
Thank you, Shivam. It is always a learning to come here, and even a self-reflection for me When I say this, it also goes to my mind. I am also hearing this, so my resolve becomes more firm when I go back from here. So thanks to you.
You are a true Stoic, sir. An accidental Stoic is what this show would be called.
Thank you.
We at TOAP are working really hard to take this podcast to the next level. Our guests are going to get even better, our production quality is going to get even better, and hopefully, I'm going to get even better too. Most importantly, we are committed to being consistent and continue to do what we love the most. Until then, keep reimagining yourself and know that the power of change lies within you. Jai Hind.